Welcome back. I am the Electrical Code Coach from electricalexamcoach.com, and this is the Electrical Exam Prep question of the day. Let's get to it. When installing a can light in a shower, if the ceiling is higher than 14 feet from the floor, I can install a dry location fixture only. The options were, no, it must be at least 16 foot per 314.26b. Yes, it can be dry location only. No, it must be rated at least a damp location when 8 foot or less above the top rim. No, it must be rather NEMA 3 watertight. And the correct answer is no, it must be rated at least damp location when 8 foot or less above the top rim. And this one's very subject to interpretation. Let's unpack all the codes. The first one we're going to look at is the original code for this, 410.10d. Article 410 is for luminaries. It says bathtub and shower areas. Now, this is paraphrased code language, and this is new to the 2023. Be sure to consult your NEC, local codes, and everything in between. No part of a cord-connected luminary, chain, cable, or cord-suspended luminary, track lighting, pendant, ceiling-suspended paddle fan are allowed to be installed within 3 foot out and 8 foot high from the top rim of that bathtub or shower. I wanted to touch this part first. Nothing hanging down within that 3 foot out, 8 foot high from the top rim of that shower. This zone is restricted and includes the space above the tub or shower. So 3 foot out, 8 foot high above that top rim, no hanging things, ceiling fans, chandeliers, things like that. Then we needed to know that 8 foot zone because it's going to tie into our second code. Luminaries installed within the footprint of the bathtub or shower, extending up to 8 feet above the rim or threshold, must be rated for damp or wet locations. So at a minimum, it's telling you, it doesn't matter what the definition of damp or wet location is. In these areas, it's required to be damp or wet location rated. If a luminary is a position where it can be directly struck by a shower spray, it must be rated for wet locations. Now, we already know that because it would meet the definition of wet location, but they put that code here just to remove all confusion or doubt, which sometimes if you find redundant things in the code, it's not because they're being redundant. It's because they want to make it crystal clear because it's caused some problem out in the field between a contractor and a building department, right? Now let's look at, so this code says if it's above 8 feet, could be dry location rated, potentially. But now let's look at the definitions of dry, damp, and wet location and see what you think, if you think it's ever going to be possible. These are all paraphrased definitions. A dry location is one that is not normally exposed to moisture or wet conditions. However, a space classified as a dry location may still be subject to temporary dampness or wetness, for example, during building construction. So you've got to ask yourself the question, is the area even 8 foot above the tub or shower? Is it a dry location by definition? Not normally exposed to moisture. Well, let's put a pin in that and read the definition of damp location. A damp location is one that is shielded from direct weather, exposure, and not subject to saturation by water or other liquids, but where moderate moisture may still be present. Does that describe a bathroom? What happens if you don't turn the fan on in your bathroom or you don't have a fan? The whole room is wet, right? It's dripping. It's like a sauna in there, or a steam room, excuse me. So you got to ask the question, is it always a damp location in a bathroom? I don't know. Let's look at the definition of wet location. A wet location is one or more of the following: areas that are unprotected and exposed to weather, places subject to saturation with water and other liquids, underground spaces, locations and concrete slabs that are in direct contact with the earth. And there may be other parts of the code that tell you this is a damp or wet location, just like in the code that we just learned. It says, I don't care if you don't think it meets the definition of damp or wet location. This zone must be damp or wet located rated, period. So there may be other parts of the code that step it up a notch. But let's go back here. This is all up to your AHJ, and I think it's 90.4. Let me flip there very quickly. I think it's either 90.1 or 90.4. At the very beginning of the code, it says that everything must be approved. I believe it's 90.4, not 90.3, 90.4 enforcement. The code is intended to be suitable for enforcement and must be approved by somebody. And that could be your inspector, could be your building department, could be the fire department, the health department in your area. Somebody's going to be the AHJ most likely. But watch this now. They still have to approve it. So even if the code in 410 says that, hey, above that 8 foot, you may consider it a dry location, it still has to meet the definition of a dry location. And if your inspector says, not a dry location, it's damp, and here's why, they've definitely got a leg to stand on. That's what I love about the code. You know, you'll read a blanket code like 410.10D and be like, psh, I'm good to go. But when you go back and start reading other sections, other parts of the code, go to Article 100, you'll find out that everything has to live in harmony. And it might save you some time, right? You see a blanket code that says no, but you find another part of the code that either modifies it, supplements it, changes the game a little bit, or adds a little bit more insight. That's what I love about this game. You can't beat it, right? I love the electrical industry because you can't beat it. It never ends. And there's so many subsets, right? Electronics, all different subsets, different types of electrical that you could do. But just looking from an electrician standpoint, designer, engineer, inspector, you can't beat the NEC. And the moment you think you got it by the tail, they drop another cycle. Then the 2026 comes out and they move some of the articles. Then the 2029 comes out and they've rearranged the entire code book. And that's what I love about this industry. So my friends, you can do it, but it's going to be subject to being approved, and it's going to be subject to meeting all of the codes. I am the electrical code coach, and my bargain is that these videos will add value to you, and you will in turn add value to others. Let's get to it.